What's going on, guys? DeeCee's best bets, the top 5 for this week for UFC Vegas 93, Taira versus Perez is coming up, and I'm going to go through them, and not in any specific order, not in most confident to least confident. It's just the 5 best bets that I have for this card. So without further ado, I think we should begin. The first one should be to no surprise. I talked about it in my breakdown, but Douglas Silva de Andrade to win at plus money against Miles Johns, who I've been wanting to fade for so long. I think it's the perfect time to get plus money on a fighter who I think has the better skill set than Miles Johns. We've seen in Miles Johns' past couple of fights, not in couple, in all his fights, he gasses hard, and he has gassed in all his previous fights. If you look against Cody Gibson, that was the worst Cody Gibson we have seen, and even then it was still a very close fight because Miles John gassed. It's just that Cody Gibson somehow gassed harder. The Dan Aguirre fight, Dan Aguirre gassed harder than Miles Johns, but both of them gassed like completely after the first round. The Vince Morales fight, Miles Johns gassed. The John Castaneda fight, Miles John gassed, and what happened? John Castaneda got the victory. Even though John Castaneda is a very good fighter, still he got finished because he gassed hard. Silva de Andrade, I think people are underestimating this man's slate in the UFC. He has only fought the best of the best, and he's only lost to the top of the division. I said in my breakdown, he lost to only Said Nurmagomedov, Lerone Murphy, Peter Yan, Rob Font, and Zubara Tukhugov. 5 of those fighters all beat Miles Johns, and they beat him thoroughly. He just came across Cody Stamann, who's a game fighter, and got a nice victory against him, even though it was a very close fight. I think if Miles Johns wrestles, which he will likely do, yeah, he might win the first round, but I think Silva de Andrade has got the better cardio of the two, and I think he definitely is the better striker of the two. He can win on the feet, and he's the more dangerous. Miles Johns, when he's tired, he'll either continue to wrestle, which is not exactly effective because he's so gassed, or he'll throw like a right overhand and then he'll throw the left behind it, and that's literally all he does. He doesn't mix up his strikes, he'll throw the same pattern. And I think Andrade's skill set and his experience in the UFC will make him win this fight. He already fought a formidable wrestler in Sergey Morozov, and he came away finishing him in the second round because he was the more complete fighter. Even in the Said Nurmagomedov fight, people forget that was so close. Like, people were giving the victory to Andrade because he dropped Said Nurmagomedov, which is something that not a lot of fighters can do. So yeah, plus money. Give me the dog here all day. Next up, we have the Joshua Van versus Tagira fight to not go to decision. And I think of it two ways. I think either Tagira gets this down to the floor and finishes Van, or Van keeps it on the, battles adversity that he's definitely going to experience in the first round, and catches Tagira on the feet. We saw Van, he got quite humbled in the regional scene. It was a few years ago, but still, Devon Jackson just submitted him by rear naked choke after dominating him on the ground. And yeah, that is Van's one weakness. It is the ground game, and you can see it. He might have a good first level of takedown defense, but once on the ground, he isn't the best, and you can still he has holes in his game. Whereas Tagira is good on the feet, and I said that in my breakdown. He is underrated and underestimated, especially if he's straight shots, but he does get tagged and does get hurt. He got dropped by who was that? Tim Elliott. Tim Elliott dropped him, and Tim Elliott doesn't drop anyone. And I definitely think Van, if he can survive the first round and come up from those takedowns, can finish Tagira on the feet. So yeah, it's a striker versus grappler in a sense, because I do respect Tagir's striking, but yeah, I think Tagira can wrap up the sub, or Van can wrap up the KO. So another way to look at it is you could either do fight doesn't go decision, or in some bookies they do the double chance. So you can do Van by KO, Tagira by sub, and they'll probably give you even money. So yeah, I think that's a very straightforward bet. It was unfortunate. We did this one last week with the Eduardo Mora first DeeCee Gomez fight. And sometimes fights just go to decision, even though they shouldn't have. But you know, we're gonna take a stab at it again. Minus 135, near even money. Why not? I think this one's pretty straightforward. It's a given. It's Jekka Sargi to win by KO -200. You can either play this straight or you can parlay it. It's up to you, but I don't mind playing it straight because I just think it's extremely likely. His opponent Weston Wilson, he doesn't belong in the UFC, and if you look at his record, out of his 9 losses, he's had 3 by KO, 4 by submission, and his last 2 fights he's been KO'd, and KO'd quite easily. Sargi does pack a lot of power, and his blitzes and his boxing exchanges are quite powerful. You saw that in the Lucas Alexander fight in his last one. He I think it was he escaped the takedown, or yeah, and he just caught him off guard and put him to sleep. Yeah, I think Sargi is going to win. He's a high confidence pick, and you might as well pick him by KO because I don't think Weston Wilson's going to be able to deal with Sargi for the whole 15 minutes. So -200, I think it's a bit of a steal, to be honest. You can play it straight, like I said, and I recommend playing it straight because you're kind of guaranteeing yourself, there's not a lot of locks in MMA, but I think this one's pretty close to being a lock. Otherwise, yeah, just play the Sargi line because it's not that further away. I think it's like -340 or something like that. But yeah, -200 Sargi KO. Why not? All right, now we got 2 parlays coming up for our last 2 bets of the card because I think you just got a lot of legs here that you can add in that are kind of like quite high confidence. The first one is Costa to win straight up, mixed with the Sargi and Wilson fight not to go the decision. So we'll start with the Costa. I broke it down before. I just don't think Shailin Nurumbeki has cardio, and his whole game revolves around wrestling. He is a good wrestler at it, and he'll probably win the first round. I'm pretty confident he will win the first round, but what his game plan is his worst weakness. He wrestles, he gets tired, and he should have lost many more fights in the UFC compared to what his record shows. The Steve Garcia fight, he hurt Steve Garcia in the stand-up, which was pretty cool to see. But then he gassed out. He tried to wrestle Steve Garcia after he hurt him bad on the feet, which I guess is a negative to his fight IQ. And then he got tired in the second round, or the late first round really, and Steve Garcia put it on him. The Derek Minner fight is a scrap, that was fixed, don't worry about that. But the TJ Brown fight, TJ Brown was just frustrating to watch because TJ Brown was the one putting himself on the floor and allowing Nurumbeki to get the positions on the floor. Otherwise, you could visibly see that he was gassed, and TJ Brown could have capitalized. Same with the Sean Soriano fight. Sean was reversing positions on Nurumbeki on the floor, and if Sean's doing that to you, then I think Costa can definitely do so, because Costa held up his own grappling with Thiago Moises, and yeah, I think Costa's definitely got the stand up, especially with the kicks, and I think he's going to catch Shailin with one of those nasty body kicks that he was landing in his the fight before Steve Garcia. So yeah, I think Costa's a pretty nice piece to put. You can play him straight again, -190 is not too steep, but I like to get closer to even money with the Sargi Wilson not to go decision, because like I said, I think Saragi's going to knock him out, or in some case, if Wilson is just magically finds it to the floor, he will sub Sargi, because Sargi is just awful on the floor. So yeah, I think this one is a pretty safe bet and safe parlay. Last up, you got to have a juiced parlay. Yeah, we'll go through the legs. Asu Almabayev, he's going to beat Jose Johnson. I don't care if he's 5'4" and Jose Johnson's 6 foot. He was getting taken down by Chad Allinger and Halliger, sorry. And that shouldn't be happening. Asu is 10 times the wrestler that Chad is. And he's going to dominate Jose on the floor. The only way Jose wins this is finding a random knee or a random uppercut on Asu, because Asu doesn't gas out and he knows how to control his opponents. I think he finds a sub here, but just play the money line straight. Jekka Sargi, yeah, I guess he's in a few bets here, but we've played him in different ways. But yeah, I think you can even change that to Jekka Sargi KO, and make it even money. But yeah, I think he's going to KO Wilson pretty easily. The Tricoli versus Aliskerov fight doesn't go decision, -600. I mean, you're just shaving a bit of the price of Aliskerov here and just covering both bases. I think Tricoli is horrible. I don't know where he's been for 3 years. Aliskerov's game but he does hang his chin out there, so you never know if he can get caught. But either way, Alisco is going to probably win this one inside the distance. Minus 600, we'll take it. And then finally, the Nate Maness fight versus Flick. Fight doesn't go to decision, minus 550. Yeah, you can't go wrong here. Flick is just a walking punching bag. He is frail. He gets hurt in all his recent fights. And yeah, and Nate Maness is a game opponent. He's got a good record. He's only got like 4 losses. And I believe 3 of the 4 have been from finishes, so you're covering the Flick side as well in case Maness somehow slips up or Flick somehow gets to the floor. I do think Flick will finish Maness if he gets to the floor, but I'm taking the other side completely. I think Flick won't be able to get to the floor. Maness is going to KO Flick, and it's going to be within the first 2 rounds. And yeah, that gives us a solid play here at minus 106. But like I said, if you want to make a plus money, just take the Jekka Sargi by KO line, and you should be swimming. And that's it. 5 bets, nice and quick for you guys to copy. Like I said, make your own bets. Don't just, you can take this as inspiration and do with it what you will, but don't go tailing other people's bets blindly, and do your own research as well. If you think anything's wrong with these ones, let me know in the comments. If you're tailing them, let me know in the comments as well. And that wraps it up. I'll have a UFC Vegas 93 recap on the Monday, the day after the it will be the Sunday for America, but the Monday for Australia, the day after the card, talking about my predictions and what went wrong, what went right, and just how the fight went as a whole. Other than that, I hope you enjoy your week. Keep on studying some tape, and it should be a fun card. Starts late for Australia, which is nice, get a nice little sleep in. And the Euros start this week, which is even better. So until Monday, I'll catch you later, and take care. Ciao.